While he's making his way up here, I would like to welcome all you coming in here this evening. We are actually here to recognize and honor Marvin Fleshman. Now, Marvin's been a member of the American Legion for 15 years, and he has done a tremendous amount of work here that sometimes goes unnoticed and unrecognized, and people don't know how much he contributes. And how much he contributes is on this side. Barb does all the kitchen work, and Chris cleans this place up, and thank you, Marvin. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to Marvin and let him tell his story. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, I was surprised that I got to be number 2 to spill all the dirty stuff and all that. But, you know, I'm honored that this whole group thinks enough of me to want to hear what I went through. And I'm glad to tell you all. And can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, I was born in Johnstown, and I've lived in Johnstown ever since. And that was 1933. And I went to Johnstown School, graduated there, and I think I'm getting ahead of myself. When I was 13, I answered an ad in the Johnstown Independent. It said, wanted boy to sweep out the office. And so I said, I'll take that. And I went up seen Mr. Fred Neely, and we talked for a while, and I got the job. And I swept his office, I think about maybe three weeks, and then I was setting type and running a press. So I found my nick in life as a printer, and I spent a total of 43 and a half years in the printing industry, and it was good to me, and I enjoyed it. And I'll tell you why I enjoyed it. When I moved over to Westerville in my work, we went to offset printing, and Les Wexner, I guess, had his fingers in the Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
And we printed all their pictures of their models, and I enjoyed that real good. Yeah. But, printing was good to me. I enjoyed it, and it made my living. It made me enough money to buy a little place out on Edwards Road, a house. I raised 3 children out there, and
Tell about your army.
pardon?
Tell about going into the army.
Okay, well, that was my private life there, but I was summoned by Uncle Sam to report to over here at Columbus, and that was in, oh man,
53.
1950, 53,
Yeah.
something in there. Anyway, they sent me down to Fort Knox. And if anybody's been to Fort Knox, you know the two favorite hills down there. Up Misery and down Agony. And I learned those two hills real fast like. But I put my 8 weeks training in at Fort Knox, and I ended up as a field wireman, and which I guess it suited me because I was a field wireman when I got discharged, and I think I skipped over something when I told you about Fred Neely. He was a very smart man, and he gave me,
A rule for life.
he gave me a role for my life, that's right. He advised me to save 50% of my every paycheck. Ha 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 ha. Oh, I wish I could. I didn't have the money that Mr. Neely had. But he did say, surround yourself with people that can help you. And I feel that was the best thing he could have told me, because I didn't realize it, but it works. Just to show you, I lived down on Jersey Street when Dad built the house down there, and I didn't realize at that time that I had so many friends that are sitting right here today, and they were my neighbors. I had Jimmy Wolf, who lived right across the alley from me. I had Mr. Hartsock that lived down about 5 houses on the other side of the street. A late partner of ours, Wayne Ashbrook, lived up the street about 5 houses. And I can't forget to get this man. I'll tell you, I'm not ashamed to say it, but old age is catching up. But, oh, come on, Barbara, tell me.
Tom Hartsock.
No,
Oh, Don Jakeway.
Don Jakeway.
Oh.
Don Jakeway
Yeah.
lived 2 houses from me. I can remember the day he got married, and he not only lived by me there on Jersey Street, but he seemed to follow me around wherever I lived. I bought a house down in Rolling Meadows, and he ended up right next door. But I couldn't ask for better friends than any of them.
Ask her, she knows all.
There we go.
Okay.
Somebody serenade me, Barbara.
Yeah.
Encourage me.
Okay. About my military service. After I finished at Fort Knox, I was given a train ride to New Mexico at White Sands. And I was really glad they sent me there, because I saw things I'll never see anywhere. I got to see where the atomic bomb was exploded, and I've seen flying saucers, and they do exist. Don't knock it. They do exist. And well, from there,
You were sent to Alaska.
I was sent up to Alaska. Yeah. Now, that's an interesting place. First thing they did was teach me how to walk on skis and snowshoes. And that's different. I had the time kind of figuring out what time of day it was, because most of the time it was dark, and then it would be daylight for all day, and you don't have that here. But that was worth my time in Alaska. I saw the Yukon River. I've seen a gold dredge. I think I got a picture of it over there. Sled dogs. And, yeah. But I think that's probably the best thing that the service gave me. I saw a lot of this old world, and I'll never forget it.
One of the things he said was they either laid the wire on the ground or there's no poles in Alaska, so he had to climb trees to string the wire for communication. And the moose got in his wires, and they would tear it all out, and then they'd have to start all over again.
But they were bigger than us. I had a good time. I didn't feel that they pushed me or anything, but I hope my children has the opportunity to see everything or more than what I've seen. I don't know. It was, what a ride, huh? I even got to ride on the city of New Orleans.
Wow.
And the Alaskan Railroad from start to finish. So, there'll be things for me to remember. I can tell the kids and my grandkids, and maybe someday they'll get up there.
Okay?
Okay.
When did you get married?
Pardon?
When did you get married?
In 1957,
You sure?
August the 11th.
You sure? I think she's right. Yeah.
We've been married for 60 years.
Oh,
How did you guys meet? Bart, tell how you met.
Well,
Yeah, she.
back then, I was in high school, and our school team, basketball team, was going to the tournaments. And it was the games just before the tournaments. And I wanted to go to the ball game. My mom rode to work with Marvin. My mom worked in Westerville at Kilgore's, and Marvin she rode with Marvin with 3 other ladies to Kilgore's, and he worked at Westerville Press. And so, I went to the basketball game at the school, and back then the juniors worked in the concession stand and cleaned up, and that's how we made our money to go on the senior trip. And our class was very industrious. We worked a lot so that we had enough money for everybody to go on the senior trip. All we had to take was our spending money. And so went up there to the ball game, and my best friend at that time was Madeline Hardsock, and she was already out of school. She was at college in Columbus, and she came home for the weekend, and so she introduced Marvin and I, and so he was with Tom Degg, his best friend, and she was going with Tom at the time, and so we went uptown to the restaurant at that time, because everybody gathered at the Cottage restaurant after a ball game. And so we got up there, and the line was clear out in the street waiting to get in. And so Marvin said, well, we'll just go to Newark. And I thought, oh boy, my mom's going to have a bed. So Madeline and I were in the back seat, and then coming back. The thing of it was, Marvin was going with a girl down there at the time.
That don't make you bad, Marvin.
Someone go say that.
He looked all over for her, but she wasn't there. But I was. And so he introduced himself, and then 2 weeks later, our church youth group had a bake sale, and he came up to ask me for a date, and he bought a chocolate cake, and I think he ate it all himself. And so
I got the date.
we had a date, and my mother approved of Marvin because she knew him,
I knew she would.
and that's how we met.
You gotta keep her. Definitely gotta keep her.
Marvin, I'm glad you're not the only one the mother picked up.
Well, I had a very nice mother-in-law and father-in-law. And I think that's another thing where it comes to like people, you know, try to get along with everybody. And man, we hit it off and never had a bad word between us.
Sometimes we have intense fellowship, but it goes away.
They're left now. I mean, they're gone.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, that's the sad part about being part of this organization. I've seen too many people leave us already. And I know I'm going to see more. And it just makes me sad, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I think of what General MacArthur said. Old soldiers never die. They just fade away. And believe me, we're fading away here. And I don't know how to stop. Let's enjoy it all we can while we're here.
That's right.
What was your job in the Army? What did you do in the Army?
What did I do in the Army? KP, just like you did. I was a field wireman. That was my classification. Because
Yeah.
besides good old infantry. I
And
still
communication.
am.
There's another name for that, Marvin, gravel agitator.
Pardon?
There's another name for the infantry, gravel agitator.
That's true.
Well, you know, I didn't mind that at all. It was a little harder than it should have been, but you got to apply yourself in places, and somebody had to do it. And that was expected of me, and so I did it. And I got promotions when I earned them, and that's all I could ask. In my process of going through the Army, I met several people that I'll remember. And one was he was a guide for Admiral Byrd up in Alaska. And I can't tell you his name. I've thought, but I can't do it. But he gave us our indoctrination into Arctic weather and how to keep your nose from freezing. Because in our company, if you got frostbite, you got a discharge. So they didn't fool around. You know? And I didn't get frostbite. I can't think of anybody in the company that got frostbite. But it's a whole different atmosphere up there.
How about your honor flight?
Yes, that's another benefit of this club. I would have never got that. Jim and I, we shared the trip. And it's something I'd never see. And you see all of those white crosses. And that was our first stop when we got there. And I got out of the bus and walked down about probably 10 steps. And there was Audie Murphy's grave. She's this gal's cousin. So that was probably a highlight of that trip. But like I said, I've seen umpteen places.
I think the biggest thrill Marvin had that day was a bus driver.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, you people won't believe it. But we came down through Baltimore about 70 miles an hour at quitting time. And I was just looking down alongside of the bus, and somehow we made it. I've never seen driving like that in my life. And there was a woman driver. Things like that you'll remember. Okay. Well, I've taken up enough of your time. Let's eat.
I just want to acknowledge Chris. Chris is always here, and Preston, really, you're too quick. So I want to say, I think we all agree, you're always there. You're always, I mean, you pop in, even in my rentals, you pop in, is there anything I can do? It's unbelievable how valuable Chris is.
Thank you.
And I mean that, and I know we all mean that. We just
That's
can't say
That's how I taught him.
that. Yes, you do. Product of good roots.
Okay, that's it, Bill.
All right.
Thank you very much.
And